Okay, welcome to episode. Is this episode 2 or 3?
If you count David's, it's 3, right?
3, yes. But the
Yes.
thing is that David's one, we got all the technicals. Well, I got all the technicals messed up,
Right.
so we couldn't have like an hour-long podcast.
Right, unfortunately. The first long format. No,
Sorry.
wait. Long form.
Long form podcast. Yes,
Long
exactly.
form podcast.
So the one last week, surprisingly, kind of worked.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, yeah.
It sounded pretty okay. Maybe could adjust here and there,
Yeah,
but for
yeah.
the most part, I thought it felt pretty good. I mean, I listened to it on the
Ada
Insta.
ciri-ciri podcastan.
Podcastan. If you
Yes.
ask me, that sounded like a podcast.
So yeah, the thing is that to really do all the podcast stuff accurately, I'm gonna have to invest money
Yes.
in proper equipment and switchers and stuff like that, which unfortunately
Cost a bomb.
cost a lot of money. So this is a boleh la kind of podcast, you know,
Okay lah.
boleh la punya setup. You know what
But
I mean?
I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure Joe Rogan, when he first started, but then again, he already was rich. Okay, let's take a
he
different
had Fear
example.
Factor money.
Yeah.
He had
Let's
Fear
take a
Factor
different
money.
example.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure most of the other guys who are now there probably started with, maybe even just handphone and whatever.
Yeah, no, I think that, like the equipment, there's like a minimum that you need to hit. There's a
Right.
minimum requirement that you need to hit. And we're just about scraping that minimum requirement. Anything above that is gravy, right? But it's more important is what you're talking about,
Right.
and maybe your personality and how good are you at bullshitting and pulling shit out of your ass.
That's
you know,
correct.
that we have in droves. I
Which
think.
means that if you have some mic and audio equipment and you want us to drop your name,
Yes.
you know what to do.
Yes, exactly. So, we basically, this popcorn rest, we talk about movies. The intention is to talk about movies.
That's right.
What we actually end up talking
Doing
about,
and talking.
and not just movies, like actually TV shows and whatever,
Okay,
right? All
right.
entertainment, popcorn
Media
stuff,
entertainment,
right?
yes,
Yeah.
correct.
The intention is to talk about that, but what we actually end up talking about, who knows?
Who knows? Sometimes we go down a path that is so windy, it ends up in a place we never expected.
Yes. We were talking about what rubbish we were talking about last podcast, huh?
We were talking about ghosts.
Ghosts, yeah.
Ghost movies.
Ghost movie.
Halloween movies. We
Yeah.
ended up talking about, I don't know.
A whole bunch of stuff. But I do know that I posted the clip of you talking about The Ring, right?
Oh, right.
And
yeah.
a lot of people found that funny. Like I got a lot of comments about it, saying how The Ring messed them up as well. Like
oh, really?
they go to hotel rooms and they got to put a towel over the TV. and I said to that friend of mine, I said, not to freak you out, but I'm pretty sure the ghost can move the towel out of the way. It's not really much of a resistance.
If it can do doors and windows, towels ain't nothing.
Yeah, how would you, if let's say, for example, right, The Ring was real. Okay? You saw Samara appear on the screen, right, on your TV. What would you do? I mean, she's got to take she's got like a 50-meter walk before she finally gets to the screen, right? What would you do?
Oh man, turn it off.
No, you can't turn off the TV.
Okay,
People
okay.
have unplugged the TV and it's still on, right? What would you do?
Right. Oh man, I don't know. I'd run out of the room, I guess. I don't know.
Why didn't you put the TV outside of the window? Or put it so that when she comes out, she's just like, oh man.
That wasn't what I was
In
expecting.
theory, right?
Theory.
Yes, in theory, yeah. The other thing is also, right? Don't you think that ghosts are getting a little too high tech? Like it's like you need a TV and you need a phone before I can kill you. I gotta call you and say 7 days.
Once upon a time, they could just appear anywhere.
Exactly. Yes.
Now it's like no TV, no phone. How am I gonna get to this
Yes,
guy?
exactly. So you know how you want to survive The Ring.
Right.
If you subscribe to DG, then you'll survive the Ring.
No line, sorry.
Tomorrow's gonna fucking call you. You're like, hello, get out here. What? 2 days? What did you say? 7 ways. Bloody hell, this DG. so yeah, you need to have like a TV, and so what happens if you're too poor, you cannot afford a TV? So that's the problem with ghosts, right? So I don't know whether they can WhatsApp call. Maybe what happens if you're out of Wi-Fi? There's a lot of rules, basically.
Right. Nowadays.
Yeah, ghosts in my day.
Ghosts in my day just appeared in your bedroom and stalked you You know,
Exactly. Yeah. Now ghosts need to call you lah.
television lah.
Television lah. Sure, all the older ghosts are like complaining. You know, you younger ghosts.
Wow, look at this guy.
I
Trying to scare
had-
us again now.
I had to walk 10 miles in the snow before I can haunt someone. Okay.
You remind me of the joke, the Pontianak. You see that tiang there? I didn't see it.
This is another question that I have. Like, let's say you're a Pontianak or a ghost, right?
Right,
And
right.
you murder people, right? Don't they become ghosts as well?
I mean, by right, that's
In
what
theory,
happens, right? In
Then
theory.
wouldn't it be really awkward if you're like standing there, like, hey, you're the one that killed all of us, right? Yeah, that would be me. I'm sorry. It's not my bad. My bad.
Vampires do that, right? Vampires then have a whole legion of vampires following
Oh
them.
yeah. I guess that's true. Yeah.
And then, but then, yeah, in the vampire case, the original guy becomes their leader or something, I guess.
I guess so, right? It's like an MLM scheme, like
Yes, find your tukaki.
pyramid scheme.
Now you cari tukaki.
Exactly.
That's
and
actually
then you pay it up, right?
it sounds exactly like how
like
MLM
like
schemes
an
work.
MLM pyramid scheme,
They
right?
suck your blood.
Yeah. You invite people into the group. Okay, how many of you want to live forever?
Yeah, what an MLM scheme, huh?
Yeah, actually, it's worse than MLM scheme because in a ghost, in a vampire thing, right? You get eternal life.
That's true.
That is the product that I would want. You know what I mean? Eternal life.
Why not?
Fair enough. I gotta suck blood for the rest of my life, but eternal life and
Yeah.
eternal youth, right?
Imagine the experiences you could have while
Yes.
you're not sucking blood and stuff.
Yeah. But for MLM, the only thing that I'm gonna end up with is probably less money, lah. Definitely. And maybe like a warehouse full of multivitamin stuff
Oh
that
man, yeah.
I'm likely not going to use. So
There's a whole documentary about one of those where
yeah.
people just get outright scam. They buy like a whole warehouse full of vitamins. They say, "Oh, you'll sell this in no time."
right,
3 years later, and a $200,000 loan that they can't pay off.
right,
Where are you gonna go?
yeah, exactly. So yeah, movies, right? So
Of course.
is that what we're supposed to talk about? Isn't that what the show's about? Yeah, movies
Yes,
and TV shows.
Movies and TV shows.
So you told me that you were watching this show about Spotify, right?
Spotify.
Yeah.
I love the way they say it. Spotify.
Spotify.
Yes.
With the Indian?
Yes, Swedish.
Swedish. Oh, Swedish.
Spotify. So yeah, I don't know if I told you. I mean, I told you this a couple of times.
Right.
I have a hard time trying to get to a show that I really want to watch
Okay.
because of Game of Thrones,
Right.
right? So nowadays I've been watching a lot of documentaries, docuseries. So Spotify really caught my eye, and I watched the first one, and it was really good, I thought.
Okay.
And I especially liked the fact that they told the story from. It's not just one story, as in it's this guy punya story. It's this guy punya story first, and then at the end of the first episode, suddenly I don't know, I think it was the network guy who comes, or the programmer guy who comes. Oh, first it was the founder,
Mm-hmm.
and then I think it was the programmer guy.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, that's not how it went. And then he went to tell his part of the story, or how he saw it.
Oh, I
Yeah,
see.
so I kind of like that. You saw it from the perspectives of there were 6 episodes or something like that, 6 or 7, and you saw it from all of those different people: the founder, the programmer behind it, the marketing girl, the legal girl, and even the artist. The last one was about the artist lah.
Interesting. Does that mean that Spotify was not created by a specific group of people, or?
Oh, it was. Okay, so
Okay.
so what I meant was there was one guy who founded it.
Right.
He had a co-founder.
Okay.
The idea, the money. So the idea guy is
Right.
what came up with the idea, the programmer. Then there was the money. He was the investor.
Mhm.
And then you had a superstar programmer. And then they found a superstar lawyer.
Mhm.
And they also had an artist,
Mhm.
which happened to be a friend of the founder.
Right.
So she was one of the first, if I'm not mistaken,
Okay.
maybe even the first artist
Okay.
on the whole thing. They also showed the perspective of who else? Maybe those 5 guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
So was it controversial to start?
No, I thought it was pretty. I mean, to be honest,
Mhm.
I don't really know the real history of Spotify.
Okay.
And I guess the real history of Spotify also only those who were there know.
Right.
And even then, I'm pretty sure you'll get conflicting stories. Like this guy was saying, no, that's not how it was, or whatever. And that's literally how they did it. The first episode, they showed the founder's story. He was telling the story.
Okay.
And right at the end, I don't think it was the programmer next. I think it was maybe the co-founder. his face would come up and say, actually, that's not how it happened.
Okay.
And then the next episode is his story.
Okay. So is it that they do not get along with each other?
Oh no,
or-
no, they did. I
Okay.
mean, they did. They did, and they didn't. There were
Okay.
times where they were going great,
Right.
and then there was at one point where the founder thought that the money guy is a bit eccentric, as in
Mhm.
he's the type who will jump on tables and
Right.
wow, party animal, and this and that. And the founder guy thought like, okay, we're going IPO now. We can't
Right.
have this silly nonsense.
Right.
So I want you to step down as board of director,
Right.
something like that. And
The money guy is crazy, huh?
yeah, funnily enough, right?
Yeah.
The money guy is crazy.
Okay. All right.
And the lawyer girl.
Well, I suppose Kanye would be a testament to the money guy being crazy, right?
Yeah, man. Did you know that Adidas just dropped him?
Yeah.
Oh,
He's no
GG.
longer a billionaire because of that, right?
GG.
What's funny is that the headline wrote, okay, Kanye West's fortune crashes to a horrible 400 million.
Oh,
Yeah.
so sad.
Poor guy, man.
Poor
He's
guy.
gonna-
How's he gonna eat?
He's gonna live on the street right now, man. Only 400 million.
Only 400
Are
million.
you a fan of Kanye West?
I like some of his songs. I wouldn't say I'm a fan. I don't even know his discography. I don't really listen to most of his stuff.
Yeah, I've never really particularly liked Kanye West. Like, I've liked Gold Digger.
Gold Digger is
thought it
nice.
was funny.
American Boy was cool.
American Boy was cool.
But other than those two, I can't really name you any Kanye West songs.
Like the harder, faster, stronger thing. It's like the Daft Punk.
Harder, faster. Oh,
Yeah,
They remake. They actually used Daft Punk song.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
he,
okay.
he did the whole Daft Punk thing. That was kind of interesting. And I think he's got one with this new rapper, Little something.
Oh, okay.
Little Pump. Is it Little Pump?
Little
Something like
Pump,
that. Yeah. So that was kind of okay. But besides that, like
There was one. It was very funny. Something about dog poop. Poopity poopity scoop. Scoopity poop.
Oh, really?
Poopity
Oh,
poopity scoop.
that one I don't
I
know.
think that was that guy.
And isn't he on Monster as well? The one with Nicki Minaj? Yeah, I think
Monster,
so. He was
okay.
on Monster.
Okay.
So it's not to say that he musically I didn't like anything that
Yeah,
that
yeah. I
he's
mean,
done.
he did put out some stuff. It was
There's
nice.
some stuff that he's done is okay, but there are a lot of hip hop artists that have put out stuff like this, and they're not billionaires. You
Right,
know?
right.
So I think he made a lot of money from his
Producing,
shoes.
actually.
His shoes, right?
Oh.
Yeezys. If I'm not mistaken,
Yeezys, right?
if I'm not-
Jeez. Oh, right.
yeah, if I'm not
Yeezys.
mistaken, he came up with these shoes by himself. So it's sort of like Michael Jordan came up with Jordans, but not through Nike.
Oh, wow.
So he got like 100% of the shoe revenue, and I think that's what made him a lot of money. And I think he kind of like partnered with Adidas after this.
Yeah. Actually, now that I think about it, I kind of watched a documentary that was on for a while, Genius,
Right.
about Kanye West when he was younger and a producer. He didn't really make much as being a
Right.
producer for other rappers.
Right.
I think producer, lyric writer,
Yeah.
etc.
So a lot of people say that he's a genius, but besides that, I never really liked a lot of his stuff. Like the one that I really liked was Gold Digger. And American Boy is kind of catchy.
Yeah.
But even that, he's collaborating, right? And like all the other stuff, it's like it's okay, you know. But I don't know why he's a billionaire.
But then again, right, for me, this is something I just thought about like today or yesterday, in the past couple of
Right.
days. I was thinking, oh no, I know why I was thinking about it. I just YouTube kept asking me to install this music app.
Right.
Install me. And one day, I said, okay, la, yalla.
Right.
And then it asked me, pick 5 artists that you like. And I thought, Then I realized there's not many artists that I like. I like a lot of songs
Right.
by different people, but there's not very few artists who I've listened to all of their, not to say
Right.
all of their stuff, like, let's say a lot of their stuff.
Right.
Metallica, macam tu. And even that was during the day where
Right.
if you had a cassette, that's all you were listening to
right,
for a
right,
while, right?
right.
Nowadays, I don't listen to one dude or one specific guy
Yeah.
anymore.
Right.
So I don't really know. I had a hard time trying to look for it. So Yeezy is one of them.
Oh, you chose.
I mean, no, I didn't choose him, but I was thinking that this guy is one of those guys who's got a couple of songs I like,
Right.
but I don't necessarily like this guy. I
Right.
don't even know what other songs he has.
Right.
And a lot of the artists I had to pick, I'm like, yeah, maybe I've heard a couple of songs. Yeah, these are okay,
Right.
but I don't even know the rest of their, stuff, their
Yeah.
tracks.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. How about you? Do you have?
Well, off the top of my head
Mm.
would be Linkin Park. But this is one thing that I realized. I like genres of music that don't last. So like I like new
New
metal,
metal, which isn't
and-
there anymore.
which was there for like about 5 years, 7 years, and then it
Yeah.
just died.
Right.
And then I liked dubstep when it came out.
Oh, I love dubstep.
Yeah, so that was like about 5-6 years,
Right.
and then like I there's a lot of other genres which is kind of like very mainstream, like the EDM party thing where they kind of like combined hip. I think they call it like house hip hop kind of stuff,
Right.
because a long time ago, okay,
Mhm.
kids, okay, long time ago, people used to go to clubs, right? There would be different types of music, right? So house and
Drum and bass.
hip hop and all this kind of stuff, right?
Right.
And people that listen to hip hop would not go to like the house place,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah, exactly.
so they tried, I think, at some point to sort of like combine these music together.
To get most of these people in.
So
at the
people
same
who are
time.
into hip hop, people who are into house, people who are into EDM could like layan the same
Like
kind of
jam
music,
it.
right?
Right.
And I think that there was like this LMFAO, early 2010s, this kind of stuff where it was like this kind of like a party rock,
With a little bit
hip-hop,
of rap.
a little bit of hip hop,
Right,
yes.
Right.
So it was some trap and stuff like that, where it kind of worked, I felt, and then that also died, right? So I think when people try to be creative and they come up with new genres of music, in the end, I guess the younger generation comes along and they're like,
Right.
"What is this crap? I'm not gonna listen to this. This is old people music, man. Old people music." Yeah. So
Okay. Coldplay was one of the ones that I felt like, oh yeah, I actually listened to Coldplay a lot and
Really?
Radiohead.
Okay.
Otherwise, not really.
what song do you like from Coldplay?
Cool. I like Yellow. I know a lot of them actually.
Oh, really?
I like, but the problem is I can't even name them.
Oh, okay.
Like I know Yellow. I know Coldplay.
I only like Coldplay. I don't really like Yellow. I don't really like a lot of Coldplay songs. The
Oh.
only Coldplay song that I like is the one where they combined with the Chainsmokers.
Oh,
The Something Just Like This.
oh shit! Even that also.
I
don't know.
want something just like this. Ba 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 ba. You know?
No.
Okay, I'll play it for you. I probably
Okay.
didn't hum it correctly, also.
Okay,
so that's
okay,
probably
okay.
not helping the cause. But
Yeah.
yes.
But now that you mentioned that, then maybe even Coldplay also I didn't listen to everything.
Did you watch the 40-Year-Old Virgin?
Oh, starring the guy from The Office and
Steve Carell.
Carell. Exactly.
Yeah, he there was a scene in it where Ant-Man, what's his name?
Paul Rudd.
Paul Rudd, right? He was talking to another guy, I can't remember who it was. And he was saying, do you know why I know you're gay? It's because you like Coldplay.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know why. So yeah, I guess Coldplay is sort of like the creed of rock. You know, like a lot of
Maybe.
rockers don't really like
No.
them for some reason.
No.
Nickelback.
Nickelback.
Yeah. So,
There's a
yeah.
joke about Nickelback. How did it go? Something about. I can't
But
even.
Deadpool talked about Nickelback,
Nickelback, really?
in his trailer, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah, where they were saying like, "Oh, you like Nickelback or whatever," right? And then he said, "What's wrong with Nickelback? Nickelback has like this many American Music Awards, this many #1 charts, blah 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 blah." And then at the end, he starts singing Nickelback. He was with Deadpool and Fred Savage
Oh.
in the trailer. Yeah,
Fred Savage being the Wonder Years.
the Wonder Years guy. Yeah, exactly.
Didn't he recently come into some kind of trouble about? I don't know.
Did he? I don't
I
know.
thought so. Maybe I'm thinking about the wrong guy, but yeah, I love the Wonder Years.
Wonder Years. Oh yeah, yeah.
I love
exactly.
Winnie at that time.
Winnie Cooper, yes.
Oh, man.
Exactly. Yeah. She was the thing is, right, I think a lot of 90s romantic comedies and TV shows and stuff like that, they always promote the girl next door.
Oh yeah, I mean it
Right?
was a big thing. The girl next.
The
It was
girl next
a
door.
like a thing. People
Yeah.
were looking for the next girl next door.
Girl next door, right? They always promoted that. And I think because of that, it kind of messed me up a little bit. Like if there was like this girl doesn't fulfill the girl next door kind of like
Right.
genre of girl that I like.
Right.
I wouldn't go for it because all these TV shows like messed me up. But in the late 90s and early 2000s, right? Yeah.
You had to have a girl who looked like she could just be your neighbor.
Yes.
Acted like your neighbor. She's just, oh hi. No, not the Hollywood like
Yes.
I'm a femme fatale, not that.
Yes,
Right.
exactly. She's too sexy or whatever. She's got to be like spectacles and ponytail. You know what I mean? Maybe with some books, and then she like drops her file, and you'd be like, "Oh my god,
And then you'd be
I
the
gotta
one
make
to
it to
help her.
class."
It's okay, Winnie. I've got your back.
Yeah, exactly. Can't hardly wait. She's all that.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
I know what you're talking about.
Have you seen this movie, 500 Days of Summer?
Of course, I love that movie. It's a
Yeah,
good movie. I love
it
it.
was an awesome movie, and it
Awesome.
was. What I liked about it was is that it is a movie about love, but it's not. It's a story about love, but it's not a love story.
Yeah.
Yes. So that was also interesting, and
Zoe Deschanel, right?
Zoe Deschanel,
Deschanel
yes.
and Ryan Gosling.
No,
No.
it was Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Gordon Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yes.
Yes.
That movie, right? For me, it kind of spoke to me a little bit because something like that kind of happened to me a little bit, right? And the thing about the movie is that when you look at it, when you think about it from the guy's perspective, right? You feel like the girl's a bitch, right? But actually, that's not what the movie is about. The movie is that this guy has projected his own fantasies
right.
and wants and needs onto this other person, and everybody's got their own like trauma and
Right.
things that they're dealing with, and you're trying to live up to this fantasy. And even in the beginning, he said that he was brainwashed by all these 90s romantic comedies, right?
Oh, right.
And I was like, oh, triggered, a little bit triggered when I'm watching all of this, right? And then something like that actually happened to me. And the girl that it happened also, her name starts like Summer SU. Her name also starts with an SU. So,
Okay.
so not exactly, obviously not exactly the same, right?
Right.
But then I realized, oh wow, like for a long time when I reflected, when I thought about that incident that happened with that girl, I would always tell the story about how this girl was kind of a bitch. She's not a nice girl and blah blah blah, right? But after watching that movie, I realized, oh shit, I'm the one that's actually.
Then you had like a flashback, rewind,
Yes.
and then you go through everything and you realize
Actually, it was me that was the problem. It
It
wasn't
was-
the girl.
Right,
I
right.
projected all of this stuff.
you
Yes.
were the one who put those expectations on her,
Correct.
thinking that life happens like the movies.
Yes,
Right.
exactly like that. And that whole scene where he, after the first time he sleeps with her, although in that I didn't actually do anything with this girl, but yes, the first time he sleeps with her and he goes out and is like, he's so happy, everybody's dancing. What is the song? I think
I can't
it's
even remember.
yeah, I can't remember. He's dancing in the street to show that he's so happy, right? And he's and the same thing his sister says, just because she likes the same bizarro crap you like doesn't mean that she's the one, right?
Right.
So all of that was like boom, hitting
Bam in your face.
in the like, oh shit, all of this is like hitting home, right?
Right.
And then at the end of it, I realized, oh shit, I was the problem at the end. So that kind of realization. There's not a lot of movies that I watch, and it changed my perspective on an incident and even myself, right?
Yeah.
So suddenly, yeah. So that's why I really like 500 Days of Summer.
Yeah.
And every once in a while, I'll just rewatch it.
Oh, I actually haven't. I want to rewatch it. I haven't watched it in a while.
Yeah, and
I like
I've never particularly liked Zoe Deschanel,
Oh.
but after that, Zoe Deschanel has kind of like a special place. It's like, Zoe Deschanel, Summer, okay.
Right.
She doesn't. I never really liked New Girl. Have you seen New Girl?
Is it also Zoe Deschanel?
Yes.
No, I don't think I have. Is it about a new girl in the school or something like that?
So she just breaks up with her boyfriend. She finds out that the boyfriend's been cheating on her, and she's kind of like quirky like that. And she moves in with like 3 guys who are her housemates, and I think she has like a relationship with one of them, but
Right.
they're sort of like dealing with her like trauma, and she's like very drama, and it's a comedy, right?
Okay.
So I never really liked it. So
Okay.
it's like I'm not actually a big fan of Zoe Deschanel.
Right.
I just like that one movie.
Movie 500 Days of Summer.
Yeah. But I do watch a lot of Joseph Gordon-Levitt stuff. So I do.
That guy is actually pretty good. If there's a movie with him in it, chances are I'll watch it. A lot of movies that I do watch. One, if of course the story is nice, I'll watch that. But there are certain actors, like say, got Denzel. I'm watching that.
Right.
Denzel Washington, this Joseph Gordon-Levitt is one of them, because I don't know why the films that they make is really good.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Yeah.
Joseph Joseph Gordon-Levitt, JGL, right? So
JGL.
so JGL, almost all of his movies are quite watchable, right?
Yeah.
What is the stuff that you watch that you kind of like from him?
Oh shit, I can't remember at the moment though.
Did you watch Don Juan?
Not
Don
yet.
Juan?
You told me about that. I haven't watched that
Yeah,
one yet. I want to
yeah.
watch it.
He directed that as well.
Oh, okay.
So he's kind of got like a sex scene with Scarlett Johansson in it.
right.
And a lot of people asked him in the interview, so when you're directing and you got that sex scene, right? Do you deliberately like abuse your power to elongate the sex scene? And he's like, actually, because I'm the director, I can't do that. I'm very like conscious that is this scene going on too long?
Right. Is
So-
it going to be good for the movie?
Yes. No, it's sort of like, will people view it as I'm abusing my position?
Right.
So he says that sometimes in sex scenes like that, he wished that he wasn't
The
directing,
director.
so that the director it's the director's job to call cut, and he
Right,
can like
right.
have the as long as he needs to, right? ScarJo in it, really good. Like she does this Jersey girl accent. She's kind of like like I don't know whether it's a stereotype of Jersey girls where they kind of like gangster. Like you, I like you,
Right.
where they kind of like talk like that.
You
like
better not be talking about my boyfriend.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So she does that really well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Yeah, I've been meaning to watch it.
yeah, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, he's got that one and a bunch of other stuff, man. But
I can't remember at the right now, but
Yeah.
I know if he's in it, I usually
there's
tend
one
to
where
watch
he's
it.
got cancer. I think it's called 50-50, which is kind of interesting as well. And there's one where he's in a pilot.
7,000 feet or something,
Yes.
2,500 or something like that. Yeah.
Whatever the altitude planes go,
Yes,
right?
some altitude at which the planes are cruising.
Yes.
That's the
That's
number
the-
for the movie.
That's the altitude. Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
That was a good one, also. I thought.
Yeah. So he's good
And
stuff.
another thing about these actors, right? Like say just JGL
Yeah.
and the movies they make. And what I meant is the characters they play are not the same cut and paste.
You're right.
Like some of these actors, right? I watch one movie, wow, so good, oh. Then I watch another movie, pretty good, but it's the same freaking character from the
Right.
last movie with a different name.
Who do you think does that?
Alamak, The Rock, I think is obviously
Yes,
the
yes.
one.
I was about to say the same thing.
Ah,
I'm about to open a can of whoop ass on your candy ass.
it's like you know already. You can kind of guess what he's
Yeah,
gonna do and what he's
yeah,
gonna say. He's the same guy.
Same guy, yeah.
And there's a few other actors. I can't
A
remember.
lot of action stars are like that, actually.
I guess because that's what they're known for, right?
I think what's his face, the other bald guy from Fast and
Oh,
Furious.
Diesel. Yes.
Not Vin Diesel. Jason Statham.
Statham. Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
I very liked him. I very liked him in the one where he's Turkish. My name's Turkish. What's
Yeah.
his name of the movie?
Is that Snatch?
Snatch.
Yeah.
Freaking good.
Yeah.
But after a while, you see, like, this movie it's not Eric or Adam. It's freaking Jason Statham
Yes.
doing Jason Statham in
Yes.
another Jason Statham movie.
Exactly. The other guy who does that a lot is Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart is the same.
The comedian, right?
The comedian, yeah.
The black guy.
The black guy.
Yeah,
yes.
I was thinking that when you said Rock, I'm like The Rock, and then I'm Kevin Hart.
Yes.
He just does Kevin Hart.
Yeah, did you see the movie Jumanji?
Jumanji, yes.
Right? So Kevin Hart and The Rock are in it, right?
Right.
So in that show, The Rock, when he plays that insecure guy, he kind of like slouches a little bit. He tries
Right.
to slouch and he tries to act kind of like insecure about himself. And I thought, okay, The Rock did a better job
Then
playing
Kevin Hart
playing that insecure kid.
character.
But Kevin Hart was like this, this football player, right? And he's not convincing as like a football player. And there's some parts where it's just like, there's no way a football player would be this funny. This is just Kevin Hart.
Right.
Like this whole,
Right.
they said you need who can stare at the snake longer, and immediately he starts blinking.
Oh.
And I'm like, the football player would never do that. Kevin Hart would do that. You
Right.
know?
Right.
So yeah, that's the thing. Like there's some body swap movies where you're like, I don't buy it. Like I don't buy that this is a body swap.
Right.
The worst I think was Ben Kingsley and Ryan Reynolds. There's one movie where Ben Kingsley swaps his mind into Ryan Reynolds' body.
What movie is this? Huh? Ben Kingsley. Wow.
Ben Kingsley, yeah.
How did
Ben Kingsley's been acting in a lot of garbage. Unfortunately, he's been acting in a lot of garbage. He's like, dude, you want an Oscar for Gandhi? What are you doing? Why are you acting in this crap? He acted in this one movie where it was sort of like they traveled back in time. It was like a B grade movie where you travel back in time to like look at dinosaurs, but then one of them accidentally stepped on a butterfly and it caused like a chain reaction.
Oh, okay.
It was a horrible movie. Anyway, but yeah, Ryan Reynolds and Ben Kingsley. So Ben Kingsley is like this very posh, dignified guy, right? He body swaps into Ryan Reynolds. And for some reason, when he body swaps into Ryan Reynolds, his accent changes.
Right.
And second thing is that he knows how to high five people when they're playing basketball. It's like, no, I don't buy this. Ben Kingsley would never do that. You know?
Good shot, sir. That would be more like it. Maybe.
He should be a little bit awkward, like, oh, I don't understand American basketball. I don't know whether he was British in the show, to be fair.
Okay, all right.
But Ryan Reynolds' acting was not like Ben Kingsley.
Okay.
A good body swap movie, I felt, even though the movie's kind of kiddie, was Freaky Friday. So Lindsay Lohan and
the screamer girl,
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah.
So when they body swapped with each other, I thought that was very clever.
Right. Well done.
Yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis is like, oh, I look like the Crypt Keeper, right?
Right.
Yeah, that was funny. Yeah. What body swap movie do you think is funny?
Can I say Face Off?
Face Off. You know what? Face Off, I will say though that both Nicolas Cage and John Travolta play very good heroes and villains.
Yes, they do.
When they switch, right?
Actually, it's a very good movie. I mean, it's a very entertaining movie. I love that movie.
Right.
I mean,
this is the problem with that movie though. John Travolta is obviously a heavier guy compared to Nicolas Cage. And I'm pretty sure that even if you take somebody's face off, right? There's going to be like bone structure and like your head size is not going to be quite the same.
Right.
So there's certain things about it that isn't quite logical.
What other body swap movies are there? I can't think of many, to be honest.
A lot of it stars Ryan Reynolds. He's the body swap guy.
What? Really?
Yeah, he's got so many body swap movies. Yeah. He was in that Ben Kingsley body swap movie. Detective Pikachu is a body swap movie.
Yeah, technically it was.
And he was in this show where he body swaps with Jason Bateman, where he's like this delinquent single guy, and Jason Bateman is like this married guy, and they body swap.
Oh. Jason Bateman is the guy from
Ozark.
Yes. I was going to say that other one, where he plays a guy called Michael. What's the name of it? Arrested Development.
Yeah. So, he's the body swap guy.
Okay, that's interesting to know.
Body swap movie. I can't even. What's the guy's name?
Chris
Lil
Rock?
Dicky. Freaky Friday.
Oh, okay.
I woke up in Chris Brown's body. You know the song, right?
I get
you know the song? Okay, I gotta play it for you.
Okay.
So there's the part where Chris Rock acts like he's surprised. He wakes up and he's like, "I got tattoos on my neck," and stuff like that. And it's funny. Like Chris Rock. I'm sorry. What am I saying Chris Rock for?
Chris Brown.
Chris Brown.
Right.
Yes.
Chris Brown.
Chris Brown. Yes.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
The woman beater.
Yes,
That's the guy?
That is the guy. Yes. The controversial guy. Yeah.
People love guys like this. What's wrong?
Yeah. No. That's why I think we were just talking about it, right? Where that's how Ted Bundy and Jeffrey Dahmer
get money in jail.
Get money in jail, and girls like Jeffrey Dahmer is gay. Right?
Yeah.
And it doesn't stop girls from like, no, I bet I can turn him straight. Leave the dude alone, okay? Stop sending him naked pictures.
What you just said?
Right.
I think that's exactly what they're going to.
Yeah.
I can change him.
Yes. I can be that one girl that's going to make this gay guy who murdered a bunch of people go straight and go.
I don't think so.
I can fix him. You know? So,
but what is it? What is it about these demented psychos that drives these girls nuts? What's up with this?
The thing is, like Jeffrey Dahmer, I don't know, right? If you were like a gay guy and you got like pictures of naked girls, wouldn't you be like, "Oh my god, no, I'll wash my eyes"? You know,
bleach.
Yeah, exactly. Because if it's like the reverse, if you're like a straight guy, and you
get dick pics, you're like,
"Whoa, I don't want to see that." Yeah, exactly. So the girls that sent him all these pictures, they probably like freaking traumatized the poor dude. I know he's a mass murderer, but come on, Geneva Convention and torture and shit.
Maybe that's why he offed himself. He's like, too many titties.
He was trading those pictures for like favors. Okay, you know what? Why don't you take some of the naked girl pictures that I have and give me some cigarettes or something, right?
Yeah.
So the thing is that a lot of this stuff, I think I was talking about you earlier because of House of the Dragon, right?
Yes.
So House of the Dragon season 1 is just finished, and
No spoilers, please. I still have yet to watch it.
So it's a good show. It's
Right.
based on the book Fire and Blood, right?
Right.
So you know that it's an adaptation of George R.R. Martin's stuff.
Right. Not just some made up stuff
Yes.
that the showrunners came up with, like
Yes.
this episode 8 of the last one.
Season 7 and 8, yes.
Yes.
So
Season 7 and 8. Yes.
So it's a good show, okay? Although I will say episode 1, I feel not as strong as Game of Thrones. And there was a lot of blood and gore in episode 1, right?
Right. I think you were mentioning that a bit too much at
A
times.
bit too much, yeah. Because I think it's because it's not as strong as Game of Thrones episode 1.
Right.
So they were trying to attract the audience with blood and gore and
Okay,
violence,
okay.
right? And sex, right?
Right.
Because there's everything in it. there's maiming, there's
Oh, wow.
all kinds of stuff.
Basically, everything you saw in Game of Thrones just times X, times 10.
Yes, like it's sort of like a checkbox. Do we have this? Do we have this disgusting? Oh, we checked it off. All in episode 1.
Turn it up to 11.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, because you don't have much in the story department compared to Game of Thrones in episode 1 at least.
Right.
After that, it gets just as good.
Very
Just
good,
as
huh?
good, yeah.
Okay.
And in fact, the thing about the slow burn is that when it climaxes, it has that impact. It has that like it has that punch, when it finally happens, right?
Okay.
Because it's like been building for a long time. It's sort of like somebody talking shit to you for like an hour, right? And then finally when you punch him,
you just feel like,
oh yeah,
Puas hati.
you had this coming, didn't you? Right. So I feel like that's the thing about the slow burn storytelling. A lot of people are complaining about House of the Dragon, saying it's about House of the Dragon, but I barely see any dragons. They're in the pit. And that's not what Game of Thrones is about. That's not what House of the Dragon is about.
Right.
It is about a story about people, right?
And politicking and things.
Exactly.
How they backstab.
Yes, the dragons are there, but if you just want to watch a CGI fest of dragons fighting, this is not your show. Okay, this is not the show for it. Okay, right. So I don't know why people are complaining about that. Okay? But there are a bunch of different types of fans. I get it, right? So there is a character in this show who is a bad guy, right? And there are a lot of things that the showrunners have done that show that he's not a good guy, right? But the internet, for some reason, is idolizing this guy, and not in a Breaking Bad kind of way, right? I get the whole anti-hero thing, right? But it's almost sort of like there's two groups of people, and House of the Dragon, and I think maybe even Game of Thrones to that extension, but there's some exceptions, right? There's no good guy, bad guy. One thing good about George R.R. Martin, right, is that he likes to write complex characters. This isn't Lord of the Rings. Sorry to tell you, okay? Yeah. Lord Sauron, the darkness, and they all wear like black capes, and they're all like evil, and they all come out at night, and and then the good guys are like, oh, the light, and we're like wearing shining armor, and it's very clear who the good guys and the bad guys are, right?
That is the basic, like, good versus evil.
Yes, exactly. So it's very clear what it is. Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon, it's not like that. Everybody thinks that they're the good guy. And in fact, I would argue the heroine, the so-called heroine of the show that people keep saying, oh my God, she's amazing, she's beautiful, she's whatever, I support this particular team. She is probably one of the most selfish characters in the entire show. Everything that she has done has been for her own benefit, gain, with the exception of maybe like the last two episodes or last episode, right? So I don't know why everybody is so pro this one character and so anti this other character, when this other character has like had the heroine's back more than a couple of times. Like if you're the villain, right, you could destroy the heroine. Like, no, I'm going to do the right thing. She doesn't do the right thing like once. She does it like 1, 2, 3, 4 times, But she wants to do the right thing. And yet everybody hates this girl. And the girl who's selfish, everybody loves her.
Oh.
So the internet is gone mad.
Oh, it's the girl. It's a girl.
So there's two girls, right? There's two characters, right? One character, people are saying, people hate this character. And another character, people love this other character. When in fact, the people that everyone hates is been very unselfish, and the person that everyone loves has been very selfish.
Wait, because when you first told me about
Yeah.
this issue, in my head I was imagining a guy because I thought I saw on Reddit. I tried to skip
Right.
the details
Right.
because I don't want to spoil it for
Right.
myself. But I saw a post on Reddit which said they wrote this dude to be as bad and as evil as possible. The internet likes him. I thought you were
Yes.
talking about him.
No, that guy is connected to the girl who I say is selfish. So the so-called heroine, they call, even in articles, they write the protagonist of the show. I'm like, are you watching the same show? There's no protagonist in the show. There's no like antagonist, protagonist. It's just a story about people.
Different people, all with their own
motivations and intentions and whatever. And there's no good guys versus bad guys here. Sometimes I feel maybe people just want it to be a good guy, bad guy, so that they rally behind the team. And sometimes I feel people are stupid. Okay, you're just stupid. Okay, there is no good guys, bad guys in this. I'm sorry you can't understand complex storytelling. All right, but there is no good guys, bad guys in this. Right. So, like the heroine, so-called heroine that everybody says, right? This guy, this character, and her are on the same team.
Okay.
Right.
Wait. Again, let me just get it right. The heroine that is selfish.
That is selfish.
Okay.
Yes.
Go ahead.
The heroine that is selfish, right? It works with the bad guy that people like. Even the showrunners are saying, I don't know why everybody likes this guy, right?
Yeah.
So both of them are together, and the internet loves them. Loves them, right? And the other side, there is some assholery happening on the other side. Everybody does a little bit of an assholery, right? But for some reason, everybody is anti this side completely. And even though the main female character in this side does a lot of things that are right, the internet is like, nope, that doesn't count.
Okay.
So I don't know why. In fact, I posted it online. And this is the thing, right? I realize sometimes when I argue with people online about a fantasy
TV argued
show,
online?
A fantasy TV show about dragons. Yes. All right. Very, very important, right? Nice. So when I argue with people online about a fantasy TV show about dragons, right? I realize that they can't quite articulate why they feel that way. Like I give example A, example B, example C. And they're like, okay. But he's so badass. What?
That totally dissolves all of my arguments.
First of all, the badassery of somebody is subjective, right?
To him, it's a badassery thing, but to somebody else, it could be the worst thing that ever happened.
And I worry about you girls. Like, if you're like, I support this group because the guy is a badass, even though he's not a nice, good guy, written, right? It makes me think, again, like, what? You mean Marilyn Manson, the guy who worships the devil, abuses women? Shocking!
Oh, wow.
Shocking! The guy who worships the devil turns out to not be a good guy. You know?
Right.
So sometimes I worry about your decision making, all right? So anyway, that's my rant about House of the Dragon.
Right. Now I'm going to have to watch it. Okay.
It is a really good show, in my opinion, based on reviews that I have read, because it's even grayer than the books. So even in the books, there are certain motivations by certain characters, which is, I would say, we consider negative or evil, right? In TV show, they've even made it more ambiguous.
Even more, okay, right.
Yeah. So because of that, I feel it's even better. Because I love shows with complex characters.
Where you kind of have to think for yourself about the situation.
Yeah, like maybe you're doing something. And in my point of view of you doing it,
like I'm taking something from you, let's say.
Let's say, for example, right? And I'm thinking, wow, look at this guy, such an asshole. Can you believe this? But actually, there's a reason why you're doing it.
Because my family is suffering and they have no, or something like that.
Or maybe it's sort of like you know something about this.
Right. If I left it with shards, it's going to corrupt him.
Or something like that. Right. Something like that, right? Or maybe it's sort of like you were told to do this and it is your duty to do something, right? And you didn't know that you were told to do this. So there's like, from your point of view, you're just trying to do the right and honorable thing.
From my perspective.
Yes. But from my perspective, you're being selfish and a dick, right? So I love stories like that. I love characters like that, where it's complex and it's like real life, right?
Okay, curious about the show. It's based on Fire and Blood.
Yes.
How much of the book does it cover? Because I'm like a third through the book. I've been slow reading it. Like I have stopped reading it for a few months already, actually.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm wondering if it finished the whole book.
No,
or...
I didn't finish the whole book.
Ah,
So
interesting.
this is just the build-up
Uh-huh.
of, I guess, when the first up to the first blow.
But, okay.
So there's two sides, the greens and the blacks, right?
Right.
So the first blow that happened, right?
Uh-huh.
In the book, the first blow was intentional. In the show, it was not.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
So the
Okay,
first blow that happened, basically.
Is
Yeah.
this the one where already the Dowager Queen or something, and then her nephew just comes back to Dragonstone,
Yep. And then what happens?
and then he becomes king, and then everybody.
No, not that.
Not that one.
Not that far.
She's
So,
sorry. Okay.
so no, it's okay because I'm very sure the TV show is going to diverge from the books.
Okay.
So this is another thing, right? Because a lot of fans are complaining that the TV show is not canon because it's like it's not canon. It's like running away from the books too much. But I'm like, I don't think you need to look at it that way because the books are just what it's based on.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's inspired. It's based on the books. A lot of the story is taken from the books. But it's right now this TV show needs to be evaluated as its own thing.
Right. This is the brother and sister king. The Jaehaerys, is it Jaehaerys?
Jaehaerys, yes.
And the Visenya? What the hell?
Jaehaerys is the oldest son of Rhaenyra, right?
Correct. And then Rhaenyra is now the Dowager Queen or something like that.
So that part is not. We haven't gotten to that part. Okay. So you've got to the part where Lucerys dies, right?
Wait, which is Lucerys?
The younger brother.
Oh yeah, yes.
Yes, right. So it's up to that part where he dies. Because that is the first blow, right?
Okay. Yes.
Spoilers.
Oh no!
Yeah.
You might have to edit it out.
No, it's okay. I'll just leave. I mean, the thing is that if you read the book and stuff like that, everybody knows what's going to happen. Roughly, right?
Roughly.
But you want to see what the show does differently.
Right.
How they tell the story differently, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's a different medium. To be fair, right?
Yeah. And also, I find what's interesting is like if you're like George R.R. Martin, he's got like a shit ton of characters in his shows, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Reading the book is gonna be like
mind what blogging.
You're like, who is this again, right?
Yeah, you're doing this like. Hey,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly, right. Who is this again? Who are you again, right? So, in the show, the actors have the opportunity to add their own sort of flavor to it, right? And like King Viserys, George R.R. Martin actually told the actor, I can't remember what his name is already, the actor, but told the actor that I think his name is Paddy Constantine. I think.
Irish guy.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Oh.
I think I'm not. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong. I think he told him that your Viserys is better than my Viserys. Like his take on Viserys.
Yeah.
His take on Viserys was more interesting.
George R.R. Martin said that, right? I think I read that on the Reddit somewhere.
So I do think that it is a different show, and I think in some ways it's going to lose some parts from the book, but it's also going to gain some.
Hey, but R.R. Martin is also on the thing, right? Doing this movie.
I think he's helping with the consulting of it. Exactly.
Okay, that's good. Which did not happen for number 7 and number 8, right? Episode 7 and 8, season 7 and 8.
Yes, and again, I think it's a case of in Hollywood, from what I understand, right? When you start to become successful, there's a lot of people that start kissing and licking your ass, right? So I think the showrunners were too full of themselves, thinking that they're so good, but actually they're really good at adapting. They're not good at coming up with original content, right? So they came up with this stuff, and even now, some of the Game of Thrones actors who didn't really say much earlier said,
yeah. What's her name?
Maisie Williams.
Maisie Williams. What face? Something face. The faceless one. I can't remember.
Yeah, the faceless assassin. I think
something like that. Yeah, apparently she says like, what did she say? I did not read again because.
Yeah, she said they fell off on season 7 and 8.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so a lot of the actors were saying that. Even Jon Snow, right? When he read what happened, he was like, "What?"
I think I remember seeing a shot of them doing the read.
Yes.
And they were like incredulous, like, what? This is what happens? Or something like that.
I don't think they could say that because imagine if you get like a story and you're like, "What? This is how and you can't be that in this."
Okay. I might be adding shit to my head, but yeah.
So they
wouldn't realize.
probably thought it,
Yeah.
but they can't
Mm.
quite do
I
much about
guess
it.
so. I guess so.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah, okay. It's good to know that. I mean, that's why I didn't watch it until now. I wanted to not hear the entire story,
right.
but I wanted to hear people's like, oh, it's good, watch it or
Yeah.
something. Then only I want to watch. I don't want to just simply waste my time watching another Game of Thrones. My goodness.
Right. Yeah, no. So this is the thing, right? There are a lot of shows that start well and then end horribly, right?
Right.
I think that the top number one show is Game of Thrones.
Game
right?
of Thrones.
Now, the show besides that I really liked that ended horribly was Dexter.
Oh yeah. You mentioned a couple of times.
Yeah, so I think like the first 3 or 4 seasons was pretty solid, and
Which
it
I
just,
followed,
and then
yeah.
it started to just like going off the
Yeah.
deep end, right? Now they came back with another, I think Dexter Reborn or something like that. I can't remember what it is. Where he's like up north,
Right.
he escaped up north at the
And
end,
he has a son.
and he has a son, right? Now that show again was really good
And
up to the end when they screwed it up again, and then a lot of Dexter fans are like, "How could you do this to us twice?" Like it was so good. It was so good, like early season Dexter's, and then like they just messed it up right at the end because I think they had like an intention of it to just be like one season or like.
Oh, it wasn't just one season?
No, it was just one season. Like
Oh, it
I think
was.
they had the intention to make it just one season,
Uh-huh.
so they kind of like forced the ending. I feel like,
Oh.
so that was the pity. Like, if I think that show could have gone on for like 3 or 4 seasons, and I think what they were trying to do is they were trying to make the son like Dexter, right? The new Dexter.
So they could have a spin-off, maybe.
Yes. So Dexter in the show, he talks to his dead father. It's like his imagination, right? And in this one, he talks to his dead sister, right?
Oh, right.
So the intention is that when the kid becomes a serial killer, he's talking to Dexter, right? So it's always going to be like this imaginary dead person in their mind, right? So the show was so good, and I think there could have been like 3 or 4 different ways where they could have ended the show really nicely, right? Because at the end of this is spoilers coming, right? At the end of this one, right? Dexter gets found out by the police
Oh, right.
that he is Dexter Morgan, right? He is a serial killer, and the previous officer, Detective Bautista, was going to come up there and meet him. And I think it would have been so interesting for the Detective Bautista to come back, see Dexter, like, oh my God, you're not actually dead.
Right.
You're alive. You lied to me. You murdered my fiance. And that confrontation could have been interesting. And I think it would have also been interesting to see that he found this serial killer in this place. And maybe the FBI at that point wanted to like, oh, he found this serial killer. We can't say that Dexter's a serial killer. Otherwise, it's going to taint the case. There's a bunch of stuff that they could have done with it, right? But in the end, and this is one thing also, I feel. If you have a character that has rules,
Okay.
you can't suddenly make him
break
his rules.
Right.
Just at the end for convenience. Then
Right.
I don't like it when you do it that way. It fucks up the story. Like, I feel also, have you seen Better Call Saul?
Not yet, but
So Better Call Saul is 6 seasons. Breaking Bad was 5 seasons, right?
Right.
So Breaking Bad, 5 seasons, it was perfect.
Right.
A perfect show from start to finish. 6 seasons for Better Call Saul, I felt was too long.
Oh.
And I think they were trying to drag it out because more people wanted more Breaking Bad stuff, right?
Oh, okay.
Better Call Saul, I think, should have been like 4 seasons or maybe even 3 seasons.
Done.
Just nice and tight, right? Because there's a lot of stuff in the story where they're talking about like court cases and blah, 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 some land bank stuff. I don't give a shit about that. Where's my Mexican cartel murdering people, right? I don't give a shit about any of that. So I feel it was very boring, Better Call Saul, right? And at the end, Saul changed his personality, like broke one of his rules at the end. And I felt like I didn't like the ending of Better Call Saul. So Better Call Saul, a lot of people loved it. They said it's brilliant filmmaking. It is like the better than Breaking Bad even. And I'm like, bite your tongue. Nothing is better than Breaking Bad, okay? Breaking Bad, number one.
Number one, huh?
Better Call Saul is not a horrible show, but I did not like the ending. It was a bit boring at some point, and it's not anywhere close to Breaking Bad. So,
Well, I intend to watch it. I mean, I've heard a few people rave about yeah, like the cinematography and the acting also, and the dialogue and or lack of dialogue, despite them not talking and the characters, but they still manage to evoke emotions in you apparently. So I'm gonna watch that.
All of that, I agree with you.
Right,
It is a
right.
very artistic show, like very almost like an artsy kind of show, right? Breaking
Okay,
Bad was like
okay.
that as well. But this is what I feel, right? If you're going to do something that's artsy, your topic needs to be interesting and high stakes, right? In Breaking Bad, when they did it, it was very high stakes.
Right.
You fuck up, cartel's gonna murder you,
Right.
DA is gonna catch you. This one is like, if you fuck up, you're gonna lose the
You're
court
gonna pay a
case.
fine.
Oh my god, I don't give a shit. You know, so
Okay, okay.
I felt like at some points it's like boring. So
Interesting. I'm watching this show called Anatomy of a Scandal. Like, but then again, like I told you, when I watch a series, people watch episodes, right?
Right.
My episodes are actually like 15-minute snippets of each episode,
Right.
so I'm watching a lot of episodes.
So when you watch a TV show, it's basically like 50 YouTube clips.
50 YouTube clips, kinda, yeah.
And when you watch a movie, it is a TV show.
Yeah, when I watch a movie, it's a TV show. Like one and a half hour long movie can last me like 4 or 5,
Right.
maybe even 6 episodes.
Right.
Of 15-minute.
Right.
I kind of like doing that nowadays. So sometimes you don't have a whole chunk of time to watch
Right.
an entire movie.
Right.
So you just like, oh, mau makan sudah nih, okay, watch while I'm eating.
Right. Right.
And then once I'm done with the eating, I'll say, just pause. And Netflix is so convenient; it just continues where you left off, just
Right.
like an episode.
Right.
Hey, what do you know?
Right. So basically, you finish a movie in several chunks.
Several chunks.
TV
yeah.
shows even less. Would you do it to YouTube videos?
I've
Your
never
YouTube
done-
videos, TikToks, basically.
Ah.
Everything is getting downgraded, right?
Yeah.
Movies become TV shows. TV shows become YouTube videos.
But I don't really. Hey, surprisingly, YouTube, I actually watch like the full
The
thing.
whole thing, yeah.
Yeah, but then that's usually because when I watch YouTube, it's something like
It's short enough. That.
short enough. It's a short documentary-ish thing, or I'm learning something on the YouTube. What? Oh, although man, I remember you telling me about this show before when we were
there
talking
you
about
go.
the
Audit the audit.
Audit the audit. I never bothered to look it up. I felt like,
Right.
whatever, like Shaz.
Right.
You only
Shaz and his weird.
Shaz
YouTube
is weird,
shows.
weird. I don't know what you're interested in those
Right.
things. So one day I was reading through Reddit, right?
Welcome down the rabbit hole, my
Oh
friend.
my god! Somebody said, yeah, you can check out this video about it. They were talking about law or something or whatever lah. And I just clicked it. And I still, I think it was like 18, 20 minutes maybe.
Right.
Oh, next videos. And I went, and then after I realized, I'm like, oh my god. I better message her, hey Shaz, this is the one you watch? Audit. I'm going down the rabbit hole here.
Yeah,
oh my
Audit the
goodness.
audit, and there's a bunch of other videos like
It
that.
is pretty good though.
Yeah, and the thing is that if you guys don't know what it is that there's these YouTubers that take body cam from police officers, and a lot of police officers they abuse their power in the
Yes.
States, right? And he talks about the police officer said this is against the law, but is it really against the law?
Right.
And he talks about actually in Minnesota, statute blah 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 blah, right?
Right.
And it is a very useless show to watch if you're not American.
Yes, it has no bearing whatsoever in your day-to-day life in Malaysia.
Yeah.
Yet you are sitting there listening to in subsection 182 of this and that,
Right.
and you're just like, ooh, fascinating.
Oh, in Minnesota begini pula dia punya laws.
Ah.
Oh, different from Texas. Oh, Texas macam gini.
Aduh.
Minnesota like this pula the laws. Oh, okay. Now I know. Like it's ever going to be useful to you, right? So,
As if you're ever gonna need it.
have you seen the one with the train wreck?
Yes, they parked the car
Yes.
on the freaking train track.
Yes.
I was like, what?
That's
Stupid.
insane. That's the stuff of nightmares, right?
Yeah.
And was she even guilty? Did he get the
I
right
don't
person?
know. They didn't say at the end, right?
Yeah. So-
She's suing them for like apparently the
Yes.
biggest.
Yes.
I
hope she
lawsuit.
wins.
I hope she wins. Like how many broken ribs? How many broken what bones?
The fact that she's alive is amazing.
Yeah, you could see the car was pretty much hammered, lah.
I mean, when I was watching it, right, what I was thinking was, okay, if you don't know what the context is, okay, the context is this. There were police said that there got a message there was this road rage incident where there was this girl waving a gun at someone,
yes,
right?
yes.
So they tracked her down And it's unclear whether this is really the girl or not because she has no idea why the police are pulling her over, right?
Yeah.
And they couldn't find the gun, at least at the beginning. And I remember that some parts of the video they were saying maybe she could have thrown the gun out of the car.
Right.
That's what they were saying, right? So they arrested her, put her in the back of the police car, and the police car was
On the train tracks.
on the train track, right?
Right.
So while they were looking for their car, she had no idea. She said, "What is this about? Why are you arresting me?"
Yeah.
And when I was watching this, I was thinking, oh, it's because they left her on the train track for a long duration and that is unsafe and that's why they're suing her. Never in my mind did I ever think, oh shit, an actual train is going to come and hit the police car while she's handcuffed at the back.
I thought she was saying, they left me on the train tracks for 30 minutes or whatever it was. No, man.
No.
A train came and the police officers were like, oh shit!
Yeah, and they couldn't even like save her. I don't know whether they even tried to save her. They were just like, oh, we fucked up, I guess.
Yeah.
And then didn't they go back after that and still try to look for the gun?
Oh yeah. In fact, they said. I remember one of the officers saying like, first we gotta know who she is.
Right.
I'm guessing it's like if she's some anak dato, we're gonna be dead lah now.
Right. Exactly. So that's the thing, right? In the States, the police can fuck up like that to that level and doesn't appear to be a lot of blowback, right?
Administrative leave for a couple of months and then you get reinstated. Oh yeah, oh well.
Did you see the one where the guy was collecting garbage?
Oh no, I did not.
Oh, you should try to find that one. This guy is collecting garbage in front of his in front of like a student block, right?
Okay.
And the police officer comes up to him and says, "Hey, what are you doing here? Are you working here?" And because the sign says no trespassing, and he's like, "What? No, I live here, right?" And then the police officer says, "Can I see some ID?" Now in the States, for a lot of states, right, you do not need to identify yourself. It's not like in Malaysia, any police officer asks you for IC,
you have to show
you
your
must
ID.
show. In the States, that is actually viewed as like Nazi Germany. Like, where are your documentation? Where are your papers?
Where is your star?
Yeah, exactly. So if that is viewed like if you have to show documentation to authority just to be there, it is viewed as like you're like Nazi,
authoritarian,
like you're like a Nazi Germany kind of place, right? So in the States, they're very anti that. So this guy asked him for identification and he provides it, but it's like a student card. So he says, it doesn't show your address on this. And he's like, why don't I just buzz you in and show that I live here? And he's like, oh, but it says no trespassing. And then after a while, this guy starts to get irritated. Like, yo, dude, I am collecting garbage right now. Right? What is your problem here, right? And then eventually the police officer starts to get like agitated with him and wants to like arrest him. And he says, no, I'm not going to let you arrest me. And then he calls for backup. He says that the guy who's collecting garbage has like a blunt weapon in his hand, which is like the pincer to collect garbage.
Okay.
The police start to come there. Everybody start to surround him. And then he says, you're going to shoot me because I'm collecting garbage in front of my own house? And eventually somebody else had to come, which is a white guy, came and says,
oh, no, this dude was black.
This dude's black, yes.
Okay.
Obviously, right?
Obviously.
Yeah. This is America we're talking about, right? So then another policeman, another guy who lives there says, no, this guy is my student. And then only the police are like, okay, you can go. Yeah. But like when you watch this is what I realized, right? Like the cops in America, when they are bad,
really bad.
Really, it's fucking scary, man. Like in a position of power, you cannot do anything.
Yeah.
And I guess it's because of America has guns everywhere, right?
Yeah.
So police have a lot of leeway on how they deal with citizens,
right?
And they can go overboard under the guise of police safety. And it's because guns are everywhere. That's the problem.
That's
America.
The
problem, America. Guns are everywhere. It fucks up your entire society, right? Your police officers are on edge constantly.
Like,
right?
you know what led me down to this audit the audit. First, they showed a video, a case of this one guy who got police called on his hotel room because somebody happened to see a gun being waved around.
Yes.
The gun was actually a BB gun to shoot birds with pellets.
Right.
They came, and I saw the video. I saw the whole video, and it's really terrifying.
Yeah.
They apparently knocked on the door, but they didn't hear.
Right.
He was with a girl explaining about this BB gun to shoot the good birds or whatever. But when they do come out, the girl and the guy come out, immediately the police officer is like, get on the ground! Rah, 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 rah.
Right.
Follow my orders! And then the lady, they both like, okay, hands up. And then first he said to the lady, okay, hands up, on your knees, crawl to me. She did
Yeah.
exactly that.
Yeah.
And then after that, the guy, and he didn't say it calmly. He didn't say like, could you please put your, no, it was like
Yeah.
shouting, you better fucking put that. And then after that, the guy's turn.
Yeah.
And this guy was already like pleading for his life. You can see he's crying already,
Right.
but
Yeah.
if you put your hands down, I'm gonna shoot you. The guy said, okay, so crawl to me. Then the guy started crawling. His his pants were loose.
Yeah.
He reached back to pull his pants up,
Yeah.
and he got shot.
I saw that.
It was so sad.
It's scary. It's scary. Yeah. It's nuts.
I mean, I'm no longer. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm glad we have Malaysian police. We just ask you for 15 years. That's good.
The bad cops, right?
No, the bad cops.
The bad cops.
For the most part,
Yeah.
in fact, I've only ever been asked once,
Yeah.
and that time also I didn't have money.
Right.
So this is a very rare occurrence in
Right,
Malaysia.
yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And guns, I never have to be worried about them wanting to load on me for whatever reason.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think that happens here.
Yeah, no, in the States, you get pulled over for a broken tail light.
Mm.
The cop asks you for license and registration. You reach for it and he empties his Glock at you, right?
Yes. And you're just doing what he asked
Yeah,
you
exactly.
to do. Ah,
So yeah, that's kind of scary. There's one that I saw as well where this guy, he was sitting on a like roadside, and the cop was telling him, "Okay, put your hands up, now cross your legs."
Oh,
and
yeah,
he was
yeah.
and he couldn't quite understand what the police officer was telling, because it was confusing. Even I'm listening to it, I'm like, "What?
Right.
Cross your legs? How?
Right.
Like how?" And the next thing you know, boom, taser. Like it was a taser in this case.
Oh,
Yeah.
man, crazy lah.
Yeah.
And I mean, they really got a serious issue here. Today I read about another one. At first I thought shooter arrested something. I thought, which one?
Right. Yeah.
You know you have a problem, and the headline comes out, and you're thinking, which shooter are you talking about?
Shooter, right?
My goodness! Apparently, a guy was walking around a school somewhere. I can't forget. I can't remember the name. He had 600 rounds of ammo for an AR-15 like gun,
Right.
which is an automatic submachine gun or whatever the hell. And the only reason he managed to kill like one or two people is because the gun jammed.
Right.
Imagine if the gun didn't jam, you have another
Right.
Uvalde.
Right.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. No.
So
that is scary. Yeah.
And
So-
then they still talking about, but no, guns may rates and things. I mean, I don't
no, the thing is that I think that is a strange concept, because the thing about guns in America, right? Guns is not like a tool. It's not like a screwdriver or something like that. You use it to achieve something.
Right.
Guns in America is sort of like a religion.
Yeah.
The religion of firearms, right? It's related to you being patriotic,
Yeah.
which is odd, right? Like you have to think like this tool is related to you being patriotic somehow, right? So yeah, so like imagine if like some politician here was like, yeah, pro screwdrivers, and like we're gonna keep our screwdrivers, like we're not gonna, the government is coming to take your screwdrivers away. It'd be like, what is an odd thing to like have a campaign thing about, right? So so yeah, I mean, as a non-American, that is odd.
I don't get it.
It is strange.
Very strange.
I get that in society there is some things that are strange in one society, and another society it makes sense.
Right. But this is like the
it's-
rest
it's-
of the world
Yeah.
doesn't have this problem.
Yeah.
And here you have this one supposed to be first world country.
Yeah.
No,
The thing about America, I feel, is that they are number one, capitalism at all costs. Like capitalism is another religion there, right? Any kind of income redistribution, and you're fucking commie, right?
Yeah.
Pay for your medical. You mean I gotta pay the government? The government pays for your medical. The income redistribution, fucking commie, right? So I think that's the problem, right? And of course, the guns thing it's difficult. They're a huge country with 300 million people, right?
Mhm.
It's difficult to solve certain complex problems like
For
that.
sure.
Yeah. So I think if you had like a population that was like 30 million, even if you're a big country potentially, or if you're a country that's smaller, maybe. but it's difficult to come to consensus.
Yeah.
So yeah,
And especially when it's so entrenched
yeah,
in your culture, right?
yeah,
I don't know lah.
yeah. I mean, it's strange for us, but yeah, you do you, America.
Yeah,
You know?
you do you.
I'm not anti-guns. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
police officers should have
Yeah,
guns.
yeah, exactly. I
Uh,
totally agree.
and certain people who have it for certain reasons.
Like
Yeah,
maybe they are highly susceptible to being kidnapped or whatever the hell.
or maybe you're in like a very remote place and it would take too long for the police to get
Yeah,
there.
yeah, it kind of makes sense.
Just for
you to have
defense,
guns.
you have a shotgun. But like all of these, everybody can get
Walking around a 7-Eleven with an AR-15 strapped to your back.
submachine gun thing. It's a bit odd.
Ugh.
So yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, which army are you gonna fight at 7-Eleven? I don't know, man. It's crazy.
So yeah.
Yeah. So I'm really glad that I know in Malaysia I can go to any one of my friend's house.
Yeah.
Never mind any of my friend's house. I can go to anybody's house
Right.
and be very, very sure that I will not be shot in the head.
Yeah. I think if we were like somewhere we were talking about, we could hear like some pop 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 sound, right?
Yeah.
And we were thinking it's fireworks or something like that, right? And then I thought, what if somebody was firing like an AR-15 or a AK-47
Yeah.
like in the distance in Malaysia? What would happen?
Oi, diam lah!
Yeah, exactly. The first thing we would think is that why so noisy? Who is this making? You know
12
what time it
o'clock
is?
already, you know.
Exactly.
Playing fireworks more.
Yeah. It's so inconsiderate, you know.
Yeah.
What is so noisy? Trying to talk here so we cannot talk, you know.
Flip side, in America,
Yeah.
somebody's playing it's Chinese New Year. Oh no, duck for cover! You gotta
Yeah.
cops.
I think it happened in Times Square, right?
Really?
There was like a like a mob stampede because a motorcycle backfired. And even recently, right, there was this situation where there were some marathon runners running through like a restaurant, and people saw some people running, and everybody just
ran.
started running. Like, oh shit, what's happening?
Marathon.
Why is everybody running? You
Oh
know?
my goodness! Oh my goodness!
So yeah,
It's a sad state of affairs. I mean, imagine that means you are forever on edge. You just looking around, waiting for these things. That would never happen. He'll be like, hey, "Apa this guy running?"
yeah, exactly.
Gila ka.
Yeah, and we're the opposite. If something bad happens, it take us a couple of seconds to like, what is happening? like let's say for example there was like an active shooter somewhere, right? You're sitting at a Starbucks. A Malaysian would probably be like, I guess somebody's gonna get him eventually. This is like ruining my day. I just sat down here, you know.
Oh, they will be thinking, habis lah, jam lah like this. Cops will be here, roads will be closed. How am I gonna go home?
Yeah, so we have another set of problems.
Yeah, that's
we don't take things seriously enough sometimes.
Maybe.
Like I think there was some cases where if something happens, everybody's reaction is not to help. Everybody's reaction is, I think I need to film this, put it up on YouTube and TikTok.
Zoom. Yeah.
That's the other.
But I
that's
think
our problem.
it's a very serious problem.
Yeah,
Rubbernecking.
yeah,
Rubbernecking is a Malaysian pastime.
yeah, exactly.
My goodness.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually, you know what? I actually had like a hairy encounter with cops
Oh.
one time. But the thing is, I was not scared. You know
Right.
what's strange is that so I was in my car, right? And this car, my previous car, I think I was stopped like maybe 3 or 4 times in that 1 week. So I'm guessing some massive gangster has the same car as my car, or
Oh,
similar license plate, or I'm not quite sure lah, right? So I was driving, and then this police cop car in front of me. The police officer sticks his head out of the car and looks at me, like sticks his head out of the window, right? So
Right.
that's already very odd, right?
Very weird, right?
You're like, what is that? That's very odd, right? And then he goes back in, and then there's another second cop car, and I'm driving in. One cop car pulls off to the side, lets me overtake. So I'm like, okay, I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm just gonna
Right.
overtake
Just
him.
let him overtake.
So there's one cop car in front of me, one cop car behind me, and then the cop car behind me blares his siren.
Oh shit!
So then I'm like, okay. So I pull over to the side of the road, and the whole time, right, what's going through my dumb mind is, what the fuck is happening right now? I have zero sense of like, am I in danger? Or nothing. I was just like, okay, like what is happening? I'm just so curious, right? Because that's what's happening. Is that I'm just so curious what is happening right now. And the four cops get out of their car, and all of them have their hand on their holster, and they are creeping towards my car, right? With the holster like this, right?
What are you feeling at this point?
So at this point, I'm still feeling like, what the fuck is happening? What's going through my mind? Then one of the cop knocks on. They have this thing where one cop goes to the front, another cop to the back, right?
Okay.
So they knock on my door, and I lower the window, and he says, "Tengok driver license, IC." So I show my driver's license and IC, and he looks at it, and he's got his hand on his holster. He's like, "It's not the guy," like he didn't actually say that, obviously, right? But the look on you, he's just like, there's a point where he just kind of like, this is not that guy we're looking for.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Disappointed.
No, I don't know whether it's disappointed, but it's sort of like, this is, I was like stress myself out for nothing. It's not the guy, you know.
Okay.
And then I asked him, kenapa bang? Rupa saya macam gangster ke? And he's like, tak ada apa-apa. And he just gave back my IC. And I was like, tak ada apa-apa. What was all of this about? What was this whole like cops 911 thing happening right now, you know?
Right.
And then they drove off, and I got zero explanation. Why? What happened? Why did you pull me over? You know?
Right. But thankfully, if you were in the States, I think you'd be scared shitless.
Yes, exactly. I think my hands would be on the steering wheel, and I don't even think I'd be able to just like lower my window and hand over something. They probably open the door. I'd be on the floor, my feet on the ground, you know.
And they'll be checking your identification or whatever.
Yes. I mean, my face would be on the gravel, and my hand would be behind my back.
Probably with a handcuff.
Yeah, and then
somebody screaming at you, "Don't move!"
Somebody's probably got his knee on my neck.
Cross your leg.
Yeah, cross his knee on my neck. I'm guessing, and we're gonna find it difficult to breathe. And then after all of this, I'll be back in the squad car, and then like 10 minutes later, then they'll be like,
a train.
Turns out that you're the wrong person. If there is a train, if there is a train, I might even get hit by a train, you know. So that one I just handed over my IC, and I joked with him. I was even like, "Kenapa bang? Lupa macam gangster ka?" You know. So turned out that it was pretty boring in the end. But that was my.
Was it you also who said that one day you got stopped? I think it might have been me, maybe I can't remember. Somebody, one of our friends.
Right.
They got stopped. They just came back from somewhere like, I don't know, some place with a farm or something like that.
Okay.
And they bought vegetables.
Right.
And then cops stopped them.
Okay.
They're looking all serious and shit, right? And then they asked something like, let's say it was sayur. Let's say it's sayur.
This is not me.
Right? Okay. But I remember this story.
Right.
And then the guy's like looking so serious, looking at it. How much, that one? 1 kilo? Or something like that. What the hell? And then, okay, go ahead. I think it might have been Mika and Farouk or something like that. Okay. But I remember the story. I don't know who said it. I don't even know it was
you
me.
You don't even remember if it's you?
I can't remember.
Okay, so this is what happened with me and Farouk.
Right.
Brother.
Farouk's
brother, okay? We were looking for some place. I'm pretty sure it's Farouk. Right. We're looking for some place. And I can't remember at that time we got GPS or don't have GPS or something like that. I'm not 100% sure, but we got lost, right? So we were at the back of the shop lot somewhere looking. He said, "This is the place, guy." But it doesn't seem like there's a turning here. Because it seems like at the back of the shop lot, there might have been like another road to get to that. And we were like, "Hey, there's nothing here." Then next thing you know, police lights turn on. And then we're like, "Hey, what the fuck is happening?" And the police cops come and say, "What are you all doing here?" And we're like, "We're lost." So suck bang, we don't know where we're trying to get to this place. We don't know how to get in. They're like, "Oh, because this place is where people buy drugs. Behind this shop lot, this place gelap here because it's memang dark lah, right? It's a dark place." So they said that this place is where people buy drugs. So are you? And we're like, no, we're just lost, right? Can you search your car, guys? Just search lah, you know. There's nothing inside it. We just happen to be lost. And the whole time we're like laughing and joking with the cops, right? So I don't think that would happen in this.
No way, no way.
States, it would not
And at
happen.
the extreme end
Yeah.
is a story about my brother who's in France.
Right.
He went to Amsterdam one day.
Right.
He went to Amsterdam, got himself so high on mushrooms, right?
Right.
And then he blacked out, bruh.
Right.
He blacked out, and he found himself waking up in the police station.
Right.
When he was telling the story, I was like, oh, snap.
Right.
But then he said the police officer noticed that he woke up and came over, brought some coffee. Here's some coffee, sir. And then they opened up a chart of all the types of mushrooms.
Right.
Could you tell us which one you had so we
Right.
can tell you what to do, etc. And then they, helped him to recover. And then asked him, "Are you okay? Can you go back home? Blah blah blah. Do you need this?" And my brother's like, "Oh, okay, no, I'm good." And then just left.
Right. No, I think the Holland, Netherlands, right?
Netherlands.
It has like one of the lowest crime rates in the world.
Really?
So, yeah, I think that's probably it.
Yeah,
Probably
yeah.
it, yeah. So yeah, Audit is a show that you can watch, and you might go down the rabbit hole, and you might find out like a lot of laws in America that is completely useless to you if you're a Malaysian.
But fascinating.
Fascinating.
Simply
Simply
fascinating.
fascinating.
Let me tell you that.
Yeah. So now Fadil gets it.
Yes.
Watch all this stuff.
And I dismissed this Shaz as crazy lah. This Shaz watching these stupid things, but now I know why you did that.
Yeah.
I know how you can get sucked into that
Yeah.
vortex of, I don't know what you could call it. But
There's a lot of this YouTube spirals that you just go down,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
you start to watch it, and it just, YouTube is designed to extract that dopamine from you, right?
Yeah.
So you just have to go down that spiral, man.
I remember for me and Dave, used to be Ancient Aliens.
Oh, Ancient Aliens.
They would tell you the most likely scenario. They were like, was he criminally insane
Right.
or was it aliens?
Aliens, right. And it's always aliens.
Aliens.
What is the movie that is the most similar to Ancient
Ancient
Aliens?
Snap! I can't remember. I can't think of one.
Uh,
Something us the one that you mentioned, not us. No, Ancient Aliens. That'd have to involve something like the pyramids or Machu Picchu or something like that.
Did you see the one with Mila Jovovich? It was, I think it's called The Fifth Kind.
No,
You're
I've seen
talking
the Fifth
about
Element, but not Fifth Kind.
Yeah, Fourth Kind or Fifth Kind. I think it's Encounters of the Fourth Kind, Encounters of the Fifth Kind, is what they mean, right? And it's
okay.
talking about Anunnaki and all this
Right.
stuff.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
Yeah.
That's
It is
interesting.
supposedly a reenactment of
Of-
what happened. So supposedly they show like side by side footage of what the actual footage was and the reenactment of the actors, something like that. Right.
Oh.
But all of it is fake.
Oh,
All
okay.
of it is fake.
Okay.
Yeah. So it is supposedly connected to Anunnaki and
Right.
all this stuff. Yeah.
But that guy with the hair, George Papadopoulos or whatever his
Right.
name is, man, he's probably high on something. I got to tell you that.
He's met the aliens and he's never left his room, put it that way.
Yes. Aliens, of course.
Yeah.
At least we talked about some kind of media entertainment. Audit the Audit is kind of a show.
It is.
thing.
It's a show. It's a
So,
show.
yeah.
It's something you can definitely watch. Yeah. Okay. We're actually gonna have more guests on our show. It's not just gonna be me and Fadil all the time, right?
Right.
Yeah. So we're trying to see if this one works out well technically.
Yeah, I mean,
No.
you pretty much got all the cameras
Right.
kind of sorted
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Of course, you're saying that eventually you might change these things to be a bit more
Yeah. Expensive. Yeah.
expensive.
Expensive.
I would have gone with quality, but sure,
Quality,
expensive
yes.
is
Those two go hand in hand.
generally is
Yeah.
the case.
But these mics got pretty good reviews from a lot of people actually.
and for the price that you bought them at, I think they're really worth it.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, when I first came in, I thought that these have got to be at least $200-300.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a work in progress, and I guess the key is that as long as we still like talking crap and recording crap and
Yeah.
putting it online and editing, what's weird is podcasting, right?
Right.
A lot of people, they have this thing has been around for a long time, right? Podcasts,
Yes.
right? Video podcasts especially, right?
Right.
And Joe Rogan has done a buttload of them, right?
Correct.
And what's weird is there isn't a very streamlined way of doing it. There isn't like okay, you get this equipment, this mic, and download this software. Your podcast is no. It's a lot of you need to kind of figure it out, right?
Right.
And even then, the most basic thing of you need to have one software that does it so that you can do a podcast like Joe Rogan style, right? And this is another thing, right? A lot of people say Joe Rogan style podcast. What does it even mean? It just seems like a normal podcast to me, right?
Right.
What is a Joe Rogan style podcast? It's just Joe Rogan films people talking. That's a podcast, right?
Yes.
What is the alternative to that? Like I don't really know, right? So I guess people are doing all kinds of fancy graphics and stuff like that in their podcast. But to do something simple, right? There isn't a software for that. So
maybe we need to Google harder. I don't know.
Maybe like even like StreamYard or like Restream, right?
Mm.
There's no like camera switching software. It's all like big screen, smaller screen, split screen, you know? So do something normal, Restream. So yeah, anyway, rant over.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to start to work on the intro and the outros and stuff like that, and then we'll edit this. And then
how long did this one run for so far?
We're in 1 hour 36 minutes, so we still ramble for quite a bit. But I think at the beginning there was like not so much talking because we were trying to set things up.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So I'm guessing this is still going to be an hour plus. We were trying to cut this down, believe it or not.
Yeah, you said like 45 minutes at first.
Let's try to cut this down. I was thinking, right? Because when it got to an hour, I was like, okay, never mind an hour, because by the time we cut it down, you know, it is to the beginning. It's probably more like 30 minutes, and then next thing you know, it's 37 minutes later. So
because of Audit, the Audit.
So we like talking shit. The problem is not talking shit. So that's the problem. Yeah.
In fact, when I first came in, I thought like, how much can we talk about Spotify?
Yeah.
How much? But turns out, when you got stuff in your head, it's just all the shit comes out.
I think it's because we worked at a radio station.
That's kind of
where I mean, both of us, we even co-hosted a show together and stuff. Right? And we worked at the radio station, and one of the talents that you need to have is pulling shit out of your ass.
Like that.
Because a lot of times, right, when you're turning on the mic, you're going to be broadcasted to the nation. Like,
yes.
Supposedly,
right.
Supposedly. Thousands of people are going to listen to you the moment you press
That's kind of sad, though, in a station of 30 million, you were saying thousands.
I said thousands with the S, right? With the S.
Tens of thousands, maybe.
Okay, who listens to radio, right? People are going to listen to Spotify
and
streaming and all this kind of stuff, right? Because the idea of I need to listen to something at a specific time is so 2010. Right?
Yes.
Like, right?
Come on.
With that time, I remember somebody asked me like, "Oh, what time is the show on?" What time is the show on? What is this, 2010? You know what I mean? You don't watch things at a specific time anymore. You watch it whenever you feel like watching it, right?
That's right. Maybe you have to wait for the next episode to be out, but even when it's out, you don't have to watch it right when it comes out. You can watch it whenever at your convenience.
Exactly. Whenever you feel like it, basically, right?
Yeah.
So that's the thing, which is like radio is sort of like a medium from the past. So I understand why people are not going to be listening to you specifically when you turn the mic on. I totally understand. But there is a certain amount of people who just happen to be listening at that point in time, right? They didn't plan to listen, but they just happen to be listening.
And when you click that button, you better have something ready to go.
And somehow we can just talk about stuff.
No,
right? It's a talent you need to have.
Although I do feel that when I was in radio, I had to, because you always want to say some words that just can't be said on radio. So you kind of filter it a bit. Yeah.
One thing I did realize from the last podcast, I dropped a lot of F-bombs, and I swear a lot more than I realize. So
I don't, right?
No, you don't. I swear a lot more than I realize, and that's not good for monetization. So
you don't say.
Yes, so I gotta tone it down. I think it's just that when I talk with you,
maybe
we talk with friends, right?
We're so used to it's not an F-bomb, it's just you're trying to exaggerate something using a word, and the word happens to be the F word.
Exactly. Yeah. It's not like, oh, fucking face, fuck that guy, motherfucker. It's not even like that.
Right.
It's just like, oh yeah, the fucking thing was really confusing.
Exactly.
And you didn't even realize you dropped the F-bomb, right?
Really? But I don't, huh?
Not really.
Not
no,
much.
You,
Okay,
I,
that's
not
good.
that,
That's
I,
good.
I didn't even pay attention actually. I don't think you do.
Okay.
No, I don't think you
Okay.
do. I think it's just
That's
me.
good. That's
Yeah.
good. That's good.
So that's something that I got to work on now.
All right.
Yeah. No, it's a process, guys.
Yes, it's a process.
Okay. So we'll be back with another episode.
Yes.
And of course, both of us are going to try, if this works, interview other people. And
Yes,
then
that
we're
would be
gonna
really nice.
we're gonna see how that works out. Yeah. Because I think we've got a bunch of interesting friends, right?
Yeah, we do. In fact, we've got a bunch of interesting friends who've already sort of expressed their willingness to be on the show.
Exactly. So the only problem is that I gotta clean my house because we're recording in my house. So that's the only downside. Only downside is I gotta make it seem like I'm not a complete slob.
Bailey also, right? You said.
Yes, Bailey. It'd be nice to have a girl on the show, have a little contrast, right? Yeah. And maybe I just hope we don't traumatize any girl that comes on the show with all our delinquency. Yeah.
Delinquency indeed.
Yeah. All right. Okay, so Fadil and we should call this what, Popcorn Rants with Fadil and Shaz.
Okay,
Try to create the graphics or whatever. All right. Okay, catch you guys later. Ciao.